Under the lake downtown. Here we are.
Hello, welcome to Behind the Sofa live.
Under the lake and before the flood. Now, 2 weeks ago, we were here reviewing Magician's Apprentice, which is familiar. Should we give a recap on what we sort of thought about that? Because we thought we gave a very positive feedback. We thought the Doctor and Davros face-off was great. We thought there was some great moments like Clara and the Dalek and the cliffhanger and and the Doctor and Davros face-off and even the Doctor and Davros's chair and the colony staff moment. There were so many great sequences, we said.
All in all, it was a really good season starter, wasn't it?
Yes.
Really good season starter.
Now, over the last 2 weeks, we had a new story set in an underwater base. First part was called Under the Lake, and the second part was Before the Flood.
Okay, so all in all, quite a decent start to Series 9, I would suggest.
Which means, but overall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you want to start off with your usual recap of the episode?
Wait, I need to find one.
Just something good. We usually write some notes down of what you want to say about each episode. You haven't done it for this one, have you?
I haven't done it because you didn't remind me.
I only just remembered. But to give you a bit of a
It's alright. It's alright. I'll find it. No. Okay. So, I just want to view it. See, it does go. No. I want to view the.
This is the good thing about live television.
By day. No. Oh.
So as you're Owen and I, what I would just say is.
Oh no, not home.
We're
not home. No.
It's all gone wrong.
No.
So we're on to two-parter stories, as is the theme for the majority of this series. What's quite interesting is that probably more so with this one than the first one even.
I can't find the synopsis.
Is that basically both stories are fairly different. Shall I just give a very rough?
Yeah, because I have to do it on the podcast today.
Yeah. So. Okay. I mean, it's essentially the basis of this story is that the Doctor and Clara arrive at this underwater Russian base in Scotland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's in Scotland.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. The TARDIS is the sort of alarm bells are going off on the TARDIS. It's scared of something. It's for whatever reason it's refusing to sort of interact properly. As the Doctor and Clara leave the TARDIS, they find out that the base has got these weird ghosts walking along. One of which is the recently deceased captain from the Russian base, and the others we don't know too much about in the early stages.
No.
Apart from that, they're walking around doing this sort of
the hill, the Forsaken Temple, I think it is.
I think you might be right. So the Doctor is really, really excited by the whole thing because of the fact that he doesn't understand ghosts.
It's ghosts. Just
yeah.
Doctor Who has never properly done ghosts. It's done alien ghosts and fake ghosts and everything other than normal ghosts.
I mean, two of the ones we've watched relatively recently, Hyde and the one with the pig dolls in it.
Night Terrors.
Night Terrors. Both of those have sort of got a ghostly sort of edge to it. But this one,
Mainly Hyde.
they are ghosts. And
Yeah.
The Doctor is really, really excited about it. So the story is effectively him and Clara trying to work out what these ghosts are. Now, that's pretty much a synopsis for the first story. The first part, sorry. Although you could say it's two separate stories as well.
Could, kind of.
And then it sort of pings right round into a same setting-ish, but different story within a story for part 2. But I won't really give any too much of a synopsis about that, because we'll talk about that a little bit as we go through our usual wafflings.
Wafflings.
So first up, first question we usually ask.
We do a story roundup first?
Okay.
Okay, so series, obviously Series 9, the newest series. Doctor, Peter Capaldi. What did you make of Peter Capaldi in this story?
Capaldi's just great in everything, isn't he?
He is.
Capaldi is... He manages to keep... He's managed to have that sort of new Who feel about him, while still having a lot of the classic Who.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Tom Baker in particularly that comes out from Peter Capaldi's performances, I suggest. And yet he's also, as I think we've talked about before, I can't remember whether it was on the podcast or the vidcast or whether it's just us waffling, but he's also possibly the coolest Doctor we've ever had, even though he's actually also the oldest.
I think it's just a waffling because of that pre-title sequence, that title sequence, which we'll talk a bit more about on the podcast, actually.
Okay. So who's the companions in this one?
Well, mainly Clara, but you could kind of say some of the crew were kind of companions at points, but they're mainly just supportive cast.
I think they probably are more supportive cast, but for the benefit of the viewers, who are the companion / supportive cast in this one? What are their names? Can you remember them all?
There's Cass, the E-woman.
So Cass is deaf and a deaf actress as well, playing
it's
her.
Very good. It's effective.
One of the best, probably the best actually of the crew members, I would suggest.
Yeah, Lum, which is the interpreter. There's Bennett. There's O'Donnell. There's Pritchard. There's Prentice. Oh wait, no, he's not the crew, is he? And there's Moran.
Moran's the captain of the ship, isn't he? The one that right at the beginning that explodes. There's a big explosion, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's killed.
And he becomes a ghost.
Yeah. Okay. Story.
We've already done that.
Yeah.
Format, which is a 2-parter again, but you could kind of say it's a one. Two separate sort of.
Yeah.
Bit different than normal 2-parters.
Yeah. Okay, so
should we move on to the normal question?
The normal question. So anyone that's watched Behind the Sofa before, they'll know that there's a handful of fairly standard questions that we use to prompt a bit of discussion as much as anything else. We've been trying to keep these live ones a little bit shorter than the recorded ones, because we're doing them basically alongside the current Series 9. But then we'll bring it back. We'll bring it back at the end to our overall chart of all Who episodes that we've been watching.
Yeah. So best baddie.
Okay, well, first of all, let's think, what do we have in terms of baddies?
The Fisher King, which we had a discussion that it was very underused. There's a massive build-up, 1 part and a bit, and then it's just used for like 5 minutes.
So the
a good face-off, but then a expected death.
Yeah. So the Fisher King is this big sort of warlord, isn't he?
Yeah.
Effectively. And the crux of the story is all about this warlord, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really? And when he does come into it, he is really cool looking. Got a cool voice, deep sounding, evil voice.
Played by Peter Serafinowicz. I love that. I love him. Just such a
Huge. He's huge, isn't he? That guy.
Yeah, I
He's
know.
absolutely
And
huge.
he's played by Neil Fingleton.
Yeah, it's just such a big bloke. But the
best one.
he's. I was just before you
Oh,
come
yeah.
on to that. I think the thing is with the Fish King is this, as I say, a really big build up to him. He looks really cool. There's the really good face I've seen, and then he gets sort of wasted, really, doesn't he?
Yeah, he
And-
just dies.
and you want to sort of see him
Yeah.
show how evil he is. I mean, he does bump off one of the companions, the
O'Donnell.
one O'Donnell, yeah. But that's about it, really, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's just
So
Mm.
cool villain. Probably
wasted.
would have been nice to have seen a bit more. But
Yeah.
having said that, it's difficult because at times the episode felt a bit rushed. So
Yeah. The ghosts are our favourite baddies, though.
I think so.
What did you make of the ghosts? Because they looked really cool.
Yeah.
That they were creepy for a couple of reasons. Their look,
Mhm.
how they were, and also the mouthing. What did you make of the ghosts?
They were, without a doubt, my favourite aspect of this story. I like ghost stories anyway.
Yes.
I've got a bit of a
that.
fascination with ghosts.
Mm.
I like the fact that regardless of what these characters were like when they were living, when they became ghosts, they became very sort of samey.
Yeah.
So if you take a character like Prentice, we know that he's this jovial, funny, quite cute little character later on. But here, as a ghost, he's probably the scariest looking of them all.
He is.
Isn't he?
Or the doctors.
Mm.
Well, will we count that?
We'll come on to that in a minute, I guess.
Yeah, we didn't give a spoiler alert. I'm sorry,
Nah,
guys.
so we'll put one later. If we've ruined your episode for you, I'm so sorry.
So sorry we
Yeah.
forgot.
But you probably know that already.
Yeah, because it's a review.
Yeah. The other thing about them is, didn't you love the fact when they just the whole look at them when they sort of like were put their hands to the walls and stuff,
Yeah.
and also the fact that they couldn't hold things very well. That was really cool,
Yeah, that
wasn't it? Was it just metal items they could hold?
Yeah, I think it was.
I think it was. But there was some in the first part in particular. There was a lot of very edgy, scary-ish sort of things going on with these ghosts. So I'd agree. Ghosts win. Ghosts win the best baddie.
So, best bit.
There's a few really, isn't there?
Yeah. Should I give one?
You give one first, yeah.
So, when Moran's ghost is dragging the axe along the ground, and you're sort of hearing it, like the noise of the axe, and then it shows Cass, and it's like she's not looking at the ghost, and she can't see it, and it's silent, and it keeps going between the two, and it's a very effective sequence, and maybe the best in this entire two-parter.
There's also, we've not written this down in our notes, but it's just come back into my mind. A really great moment where Clara sends Lun off to go and collect the mobile phone, which the doctor's using to communicate with him,
And
it's been stolen by a ghost.
O'Donnell's ghosts took
Yeah.
it.
And the reason that Lun is sent is because Lun hasn't seen this sort of secret message thing, which is embedded with everybody else's mind. So too much detail, probably don't need to know that. Watch the episode if you haven't seen it already, and you don't mind that we've spoiled small aspects of it.
Yeah, it's not as spoiler as the first one.
Yeah. So where was I going with this? Yeah, that's right. So there's this speech where Cass is getting really stroppy with Clara because she's sending Lun out to see these ghosts, and I love that bit. I think it's really good. It shows Clara as close to the Doctor in terms of the way that she is that we've seen so far.
Yeah. So there are a few other moments. there was the cliffhanger of part 1, which showed
Great cliffhanger.
the Doctor as a ghost. I mean, who would have expected that before the episode?
Mhm.
Bennett and the Doctor's face off. So there were 2 great face offs in this story.
In fact, there was 3 actually.
Why?
I think you had the Cass Clara,
Yeah.
Bennett Doctor, and Dr. Fisher King.
Oh yeah.
So 3 really great.
3
face-offs.
really great face offs. And the Prentice scene.
I love Prentice. However cool Prentice looked as a ghost, which he did, he looked really, really creepy. He was lovely when you saw him, and he was like this.
He was so much like Gibbous.
Yeah. From God Complex.
Played by David Williams.
Yeah. He was really, really funny. A really funny little race, and some of the lines were great, weren't they? The fact that this race, I can't remember what they called the race.
Devolians.
The fact that they're used to being invaded. Yeah, they've been invaded by most of the major alien species. But there's a line that comes up. I can't remember what it is, but it was just a really great little bit of dialogue, and you just thought, I'm hoping he's in it for ages.
But he wasn't.
And then he gets killed.
No.
Which we knew was coming because we'd seen his ghost.
Talking about Prentice, who were the best supportive cast?
To me, I know it was a small role, but I think it was Prentice. He was my favourite.
I've got 2. I've got Cass and I've got Lum. Both.
Okay.
In the first part, it was Lum. In the second part, it was Cass.
Yeah, Cass was really good.
Yeah.
And it was really effective, the whole deaf, the sign language thing. I mean, it led to that great moment you talked about earlier on where the ghost of Moran was following her. But it was just something we haven't seen in Doctor Who before. Really great interaction. All in all, what do you make of the supportive cast? Because I think when we talked about it before, there was that feeling that there was so much going on in that first episode, the first part of the story, that you didn't really feel like you knew any of the characters as much as you wanted to.
I like the characters, but we need to know a bit more about them, like their personalities and everything.
Did you find though? Because I thought that actually their personalities, you became more aware of them.
Yeah, you became more aware of them in the second part.
Yeah, well, the ones that really mattered anyway.
Yeah. So, what's the best part out of the 2?
I think, without doubt, the first part of the story, Under the Lake,
Me too.
was the best part. But the interesting thing is, when we've picked out our best bits,
I know.
they were primarily from the second part.
Yeah.
Which is odd, isn't it? I think, though, the reason being that part 1 didn't necessarily... There wasn't loads and loads of bits that were the best bit, but it just had this great edginess that went right the way through the episode.
It was just better.
And there was great bits in it as well, you know, like when the sort of chase scenes happening.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Bit.
Yeah. So yeah, it was. In fact, actually, part 1 blew me away. Actually.
Yeah.
I thought it was absolutely
Part
fantastic.
2 was, let's say, a bit disappointing.
Yeah, I think if part 1 hadn't been as good as it had been, part 2 would have been really great.
Yeah.
But because part 1 was such a good episode, you did feel a bit disappointed when it finished, because you thought, it just didn't quite live up to it. There was really great moments of promise in it, but it just didn't quite live up to how great the previous one was.
Where does it rank in our leaderboard? Both of us put it at the same place, haven't they?
Because it's a live one, you can't see the table here. You know, when we edit this later, maybe we'll pop a table in. But of the ones that we've been watching on since we've been doing the randomizer, since we've been running this show, where did you place it?
I placed it 3rd.
And so did I.
Magician's Apprentice was 1st, Hand of Fear 2nd, and this is 3rd. And then what's last? Leisure Hive.
At the moment, the Leisure Hive.
But overall in our chart, out of the 36 ones we've watched, not on Behind the Sofa, but on the randomizer overall, this ranks 9th for me and 10th for you.
Mhm. Yeah.
I was expecting it to be a bit higher, but then I saw how many good episodes we've watched.
Yeah. What I think is noticeable is that it's been a cracking start to the season. So although we may have mentioned that there's elements of it that have been disappointing with the story, that's only because the high expectations following that first one. It was actually a cracking 2-part story. Really, really good. And again, I like the writer.
Yeah,
I like
he's
some of his
great.
other work as well, and I hope we see him again. Before we stop, were there any bits you didn't like about the story?
Overall,
Mhm.
I didn't like the opening scene, but I'll talk a bit more about that on the podcast in a few minutes.
That's the
Beethoven's Fifth bit.
the talking directly to the
I'll
audience.
talk about why on the podcast, so I'm saving a few things till then if you haven't noticed yet. So
I didn't like the big lovey-dovey kissy.
Oh yeah.
But that was only because it's just because I have no emotion.
So you can see our review. You can see our review of Before the Flood individually on the podcast in a few minutes.
We will return with Behind the Sofa. We might well be doing a live one next week, perhaps, where we'll be talking about Peter Davidson.
Yeah, Peter
episodes.
Davidson top
5 Peter Davidson.
But we'll be returning in 2 weeks to review The Girl Who Died and The Woman Who Lived. So
thanks for joining us on Behind the Sofa.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you soon.
Goodbye.